This teaching explains what we need to do to prepare for the return of our Messiah. Tehillah 2 is a messianic prophecy describing a king who will be reigning over all the nations of the earth. It says that he will rule with a rod of iron from Zion. What law will he be using to rule the world? That is the question we must answer. Tehillah 2 says, "Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against Yahuwah and against his anointed," or his Messiah, saying, "Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sits in the heavens shall laugh. Adonai shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure." This passage is saying that the nations want to break the bands that bind them and cast away the cords that hold them. This is a reference to a law imposed upon them by our Messiah, upon the nations that they do not like. The nations will not like our Messiah's law. Tehillah 2 continues, "Yet have I set my king upon my set-apart hill of Zion. I will declare the decree. Yahuwah has said unto me, You are my son. This day have I begotten you. Ask of me, and I shall give you the heathen for your inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for your possession." Our Messiah inherits the nations of the earth. That's what this psalm is saying. The Tehillah continues, "You shall break them with a rod of iron. You shall dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O you kings. Be instructed, you judges of the earth. Serve Yahuwah with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and you perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are they that put their trust in him." This is Tehillah 2, 1-12. Our Messiah will rule the earth with a rod of iron, which means he will inflict consequences upon people and nations for their disobedience to the law imposed upon them. He will be firm and unwavering in his resolve. What is this law that Messiah Yahusha will use to establish righteousness in the earth? Our Messiah is going to use the law of Moshe. In our world today, people who do not like the written law of Moshe will not like being ruled by our Messiah. People who teach against any of the laws of Moshe will receive the consequences due a false prophet in Devarim 13, 1-5. In their minds, they think they will be elevated. However, they will be cast out. This is the question he will ask. "Why then were you not afraid to speak against my father's servant Moshe?" This is a question that was posed in Bamidbar, Numbers 12:8. The law our Messiah will use is confirmed by his own words in the following passage. "Do not think that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I have not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, until heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, until all be fulfilled." This is found in Matthew 5:17-18. Heaven and earth still exist and will always exist. Therefore, the law and prophets will always exist. Words spoken by our Father stand forever. Our Messiah continues in this passage and says, "Whosoever therefore shall break one of the least of these commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven." This is Matthew 5:19. Breaking the least of the commandments would be like the commandment to wear tzitzits on the four corners of a garment in Bamidbar 15:38-39. This is a commandment given to us by our Father, but people do not experience the death penalty for breaking this commandment. Killing someone has much more significant consequences. This would not be considered the least of the commandments. So using this example, Messiah Yahusha is essentially saying that people who do not wear tzitzits on the corners of their garments and teaches people to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of our Father. What does it mean to be least in the kingdom of Yahuwah? In the resurrection, we will be given a role in the kingdom of Yahuwah, which we will occupy for eternity. Messiah Yahusha will be king for eternity. No one can take this role away from him. Essentially, in this life, we are undergoing an interview process for the roles in his kingdom. We are being tested. People who teach against the laws of Moshe will not be very useful to our king because he will be ruling according to the law of Moshe. This is what our Father says in Devarim 13:3. For Yahuwah your mighty one tests you, to know whether you love Yahuwah your mighty one with all your heart and with all your soul. People who do not obey the voice of Yahuwah wholly and completely have failed the test. They are not qualified to rule and reign with our Messiah. We can change this by learning to obey our Father wholly. Because they are not qualified to occupy a role of importance, they are considered least in the kingdom of Yahuwah. For this reason, it is great folly to disobey any of the laws of Yahuwah written by the prophet Moshe. It is even greater folly to teach others to disobey his laws. People who will be least in his kingdom will be least forever. People will never be able to replace someone else like it is in this life. This is why it is so important to make an investment in our life in the world to come. This life and all it contains will be nothing but dust and ashes. The money acquired, the position occupied, the material possessions obtained, the relationships built with influential people, they will all be gone and have no relevance in the kingdom of Yahuwah. If we learn the laws of Yahuwah as written in the law of Moshe, we make ourselves useful to our King. If we teach other people about our Father and his ways, we are building treasure in heaven. We cannot take money and possessions to the other side, but we can take people. We can climb the ladder to success in this life using our time to accumulate material wealth, or we can invest in people and helping them learn the Torah so that they can live and dwell in the house of our Father in his kingdom forever. Money and possessions are fleeting, here today, gone tomorrow. Having family and friends dwelling with us forever in the kingdom of our Father is eternal. People are the real treasure. Our Messiah said in Matthew 6:19-21, Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth where moth and rust does corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven where neither moth nor rust does corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will be your heart also. People are the treasures stored in heaven. If we spent all of our time acquiring wealth and we happen to make it in the kingdom of our Father, we will be lonely. We did not take the time to invest in our friends and family by helping them see and understand the truth. Their absence will be felt, and we will be riddled with regret. If we spend our time investing in the lives of our family and friends, then we do not have a great deal of time to acquire wealth, material possessions, and status. Our time is spent building relationship and sharing the truth with others. Our focus is upon building the eternal kingdom of our Father and not upon the things in this realm. Our Messiah invested in the lives of people. He did not spend time acquiring wealth, possessions, and status. He obeyed all of our Father's laws and taught people to do the same. He said, But whosoever shall do and teach them the commandments, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. This is found in Matthew 5:19. Using the same example of the commandment to wear tzitzits, Messiah Yahusha is essentially saying that people who wear tzitzits on the four corners of their garments and teaches others to do the same will be called great in the kingdom of our Father. He is making an assumption that these people are obeying the commandments not to murder, lie, steal, or commit adultery. Our Messiah is the greatest in the kingdom of our Father. He is the King who will be ruling over all the nations of the earth. This means that he obeys all of the commandments of our Father and teaches people to do the same. He wears tzitzits and teaches people to wear them. He obeyed these laws when he came the first time. He obeys them now and will obey them when he returns. Here's another messianic prophecy that also describes the law. And many people should go and say, Come, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahuwah, to the house of the mighty one of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, the Torah, and the word of Yahuwah from Jerusalem. This is found in Yeshayahu 2:3. The Hebrew word translated as law is Torah, which means instructions or teachings. The Torah, from the perspective of Yeshayahu in this passage, is the law of Moshe, or Moses. This is the same law our Messiah was referring to in Matthew 5:17-19. The writings of Moshe are also called the Torah. Devarim 30:10 says, "If you shall hear and obey the voice of Yahuwah your mighty one, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this scroll of the law, or the Torah, and if you turn unto Yahuwah your mighty one with all your heart and with all your soul." This passage is essentially telling us that the Torah is the law of Moshe. Yahusha is the greatest in the kingdom of Yahuwah and will always be the greatest. This means that he will always obey the laws of Yahuwah written in the law and the prophets. This means he will always teach people to obey all of the laws of Yahuwah written in the law and prophets. This is what he has taught me. In the Messianic age, the law, or Torah, will be taught by our Messiah to the people out of Zion. This evidence reveals that the law our Messiah will be using in the Messianic age includes everything written in the law of Moshe and the prophets. Tehillah 2 says the nations of the earth will resist the laws of Yahuwah. They want to break their bands and cast away their cords from upon them. They do not want to obey the laws of Yahuwah in the law and the prophets. This is what Tehillah 2 is saying. There are people today who resist the laws of Yahuwah. There are religious leaders who teach people that we are no longer obligated to obey the laws of Yahuwah. These are like the people mentioned in Tehillah 2. Where will these people be in the kingdom of Yahuwah? We see this in our world already. Many people detest the laws of our Father and resist them. When our Messiah returns, they will continue to resist them. As a result, they will face severe consequences for their disobedience to the laws of our Father, and this will be carried out by our Messiah. This teaching is a warning. We need to prepare to meet our King. In order to prepare for his return, it is good to learn the laws of Yahuwah and apply them to our lives. This is the message conveyed in the parable of the 10 virgins. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. Those that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. At midnight there was a cry made, "Behold, the bridegroom comes, go out to meet him." Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, "Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out." But the wise answered, saying, "Not so, lest there not be enough for us and you. But go rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves." And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage. And the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, "Adonai, Adonai, open to us." But he answered and said, "Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man comes." This is found in Matthew 25, 1-13. The wise virgins had prepared to meet the bridegroom, their king. The foolish virgins had not prepared themselves. The wise virgins were allowed to enter through the door or the gate. The foolish virgins were left outside. We are going to illustrate this parable in Matthew by using a slide from our video teaching called Our Way Home. The ancient Hebrew pictograph letter Zadeh communicates a message to us. It is a picture of a zigzag trail leading to the gates of a fortress built into the side of a mountain. Messiah Yahusha walked the narrow pathway to the gates of our Father's house. Because he obeyed all of our Father's instructions, he was allowed to enter the gates. Testimony says Messiah Yahusha is standing to the right of our Father. He is inside our Father's house. Yahusha has access to the tree of life, which allows him to live forever. People who do the commandments of our Father are following Yahusha's example. They are walking the narrow road like him. They will enter the gates of our Father's house. The 5 wise virgins prepared for the return of our King. They were walking the trail that leads to our Father's house. They are represented by the white star. They are obeying our Father's commandments and walking the narrow way. The 5 foolish virgins did not prepare for the return of our King. They were not walking the trail that leads to our Father's house. They are represented by the orange star. They were wandering in the wilderness. The 5 wise virgins were allowed to enter the gates. However, the door was shut to the 5 foolish virgins. They were not allowed entry. The time to prepare is not when our Messiah returns. We must prepare before he returns. Here is our location map. The orange star represents the 5 foolish virgins before and after the resurrection. They are on the other side of the wall of separation, on the outside in the wilderness. The white star represents the 5 wise virgins before the resurrection on the outside. They're walking the narrow trail that leads to the gate to the garden. The gold star represents the 5 wise virgins after the resurrection. They are on the inside of the Garden of Eden, where they have access to the tree of life, and they are together with Yahusha and Yahuwah Elohim. We at ourfathersway.com are represented by the wise virgins. We are preparing ourselves for the return of our Messiah. Our teaching section entitled The Journey is designed to help people learn and apply the commandments of our Father to live their lives. We are making an investment in the lives of people to speak and teach the truth to others in hopes that they will make decisions to follow our Messiah's example. We are focused upon building our treasure in heaven, where moth and rust do not corrupt and where thieves do not break in and steal. We value people. We want to help people enter the kingdom of Yahuwah and his Messiah. If you would like to learn more, please visit us at ourfathersway.com.